Good morning. Yesterday we were talking about trust, and I was bemoaning the erosion of trust in our society. And I think it's true. Its signs are every place, and I use the example of my children who are reluctant to even believe the CDC's new guidelines regarding people who are fully vaccinated, as Lori and I are, and we're reluctant to hug us, kiss us, and allow us to enjoy the same with our grandkids. Crazy, but these are crazy times. And I want to explore the issue of trust and how you, as a business person, can gain the trust through effective communication with your patients. So, one of the important parts of gaining someone's trust is to understand your market. Who's your audience? If you can define your audience, and Seth Godin calls it your minimal viable audience. And what he means by that is the smallest number of people that can enable you to accomplish your goals. And if your goal is to build a practice of 1,500 patients per provider, we can talk about that down the road. But that's what I think the average practice has. The average mature practice has about 1,500. This is a general practice, by the way, of 1,500 patients per provider. Then, if all those 1,500 patients were exactly the same, you would be able to focus your attention on them. You would be able to get them to trust you much easier if you had a much broader, diverse audience. And isn't that really the challenge that we're facing here in the United States? Because we have such a diverse audience, it is so difficult to get everyone's trust. This is Robert Cialdini in his book Influence, talks about these 6 principles. And one of those 6 principles is likability. Now, likability has 2 aspects to it. One, I like you. But behind that is I am like you. People feel safe with people like themselves. Think about that, because it's important. People feel safe with people like themselves. And you see that played out everywhere. Everywhere. It is one of those things that is programmed into our limbic system. It's a defense mechanism. It's in our lizard brain. When you're like people like yourself, you feel less threatened. And when you are less threatened, you are open to communication. I don't know if it was on this video or on some of the podcasts that I've been doing recently, but I've been talking about the value of telemedicine in enabling communication. Why? Because in this context, you right now should be, I hope, in a very comfortable, low-stress environment. And when you're in a comfortable, low-stress environment, your ability to assimilate the stimuli in front of you, your hearing, your vision, goes up. So being in a trusting environment is really important. Well, how do you know if you're in a trusting environment? Well, if it's things that you recognize. If you're in a foreign environment, like the dental operatory, are you going to be relaxed? No. Chances are you're not. One of the values of this type of communication via this medium is that it allows you to communicate in a way that opens people up to trust, because the conditions are set appropriately. The conditions are who the audience is in a high trust environment already. It's one of the reasons that one of the most effective ways of communicating is, or it used to be, and it will be again, is delivering educational seminars in places of worship. Think about that. You go to the high trust environment, and then it's up to you to communicate in a way that just builds upon that trust. We'll talk more. Have a great day.